Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back once again to Phatkat Collection. Just going to do an unorthodox unboxing today, and this is a barbecue sent to me by Fireriot. The purpose of this just kind of show you what's available out there, and a lot of times the things that I review and share on this channel do kind of overlap. So you might have just picked up a watch based on one of my recommendations, and then decided to subscribe to the channel, and then you find me review this and say, oh man, I wouldn't mind having that in my home. So what do you get with this? So this is basically a do-it-yourself, put-together barbecue. A lot of times when you're going to buy a barbecue from like a mom-and-pop shop or a brick-and-mortar store, they do have a lot of them kind of that have been assembled. This is something you're going to have to put together. Price point on this is about $240, and I'll come back and kind of talk about my opinions on that. This is basically a dual burner, very simple griddle and deep fryer. Now, it's pretty basic, right? And I think if you're looking to do like traditional barbecuing and traditional grilling, this isn't the kind of thing you're going to want. This is mainly somebody who wants to cook like breakfast on this. You can fry eggs. Basically anything you can do in a frying pan you can do on this. A couple things I like about it: you do have 200,000 BTU burners. Now, I believe they're 100,000 each, but they don't specify whether or not they're 50,000 each, 100,000 for the pair. Not really sure, but it is kind of cool that you could actually take off the deep fry portion of this here and go ahead and put on a pot of water here to boil some, seafood. I do a lot of crabbing, so I think this is going to be fantastic for me to be able to cook the crab outside. Prior to doing this, in the past, my buddy would come over with his large burner, and that's really the way to do it. I just haven't picked one of those up. I'm hoping this will boil water very similar to the way that those kind of large standalone crab pot boilers work, because those get the water hot really quick. They keep the water rolling, whereas I know that sounds like something really simple, right? But it's really not. Unless you have an outdoor burner specifically for doing like seafood boils or crab boils, you're gonna have to boil the water inside your house. Taking a standard pot, like for instance, this guy right here, and putting this on your barbecue is not going to get hot enough to boil the water. And if it does, you might have to leave it on there for like 3 hours. It's just not designed to do that. So this is fantastic that I can do two different things on this. I can fry up some sausages over here. I can do the crab over here, or shrimp, or whatever I feel like doing. I like that you're not committed to not using the burner for just a standard burner. And you can do that on both. Like if you had a whole bunch of crab you needed to cook up, you can take off the griddle and do dual pops here. So very nice in that regard. As far as the deep fry portion of this is kind of a little bit cheap. It's just basically, I believe it's like an aluminum kind of pan. You do have a couple deep fried baskets. It is a really cheap addition to this. What I'd much rather have seen them do, just back together here, is to actually include double griddles, and then this is a very inexpensive item. You can really deep fry in any pot that will fit on the top of this cooking surface. So I feel like it would be nice to have double griddles for this price, and then included this as an addition, right? That allows you to also deep fry, because most people I don't think do tons of deep frying. It's nice that I have the ability to do that, but when I want to deep fry, I tend to do that indoors, and I'm using like a Fry Daddy or something, which gets the oil to 350. It cycles the temperature to keep the oil at 350, and you don't have to really worry about it. With something like this, they do give you a thermometer, but the thermometer, you're going to have to keep watching it and kind of adjusting the flame. Last thing you want to do is turn this on and forget about it and have the oil reach its flash point and ignite. So again, you can do that. I like the fact they included it. I will try this when I'm going to do maybe a fish fry. I can do this outside, which is nice to kind of keep that oil vapors outside your house and that fish smell outside your house. So it will get used, but I would have liked to have seen them, because this is so cheap, I would like to have seen them include two griddles and this addition. Price on it $240. And when you start looking at like blacktop, or what's the brand, like Blackstone grills, those are about $400. But if you're primary, if you primarily want to get a flat top griddle, I'd probably recommend that one over this and spend a little bit more, because you're getting a much larger surface. Whereas this, you have a very small surface for grilling. So that's why I think it would be much better for them to include two of these, which would give you a much larger space to actually griddle and grill, as opposed to just most of the time you're not really going to use a deep fryer, in my opinion. But if you did do a lot of deep frying, you could take the griddle off and add a second one of these. I'm not sure if they sell those separate, but you can use kind of whatever you want. Again, dual burners on this. You have a handle, wheels, Assembly was pretty straightforward, although it is a little bit time consuming. It's going to take you about an hour and a half to 2 hours to put this together. You do have your propane tank attachment and dual valves. These appear to be ball valves, but they just kind of, let me just see here. Yeah, so you have to spin them multiple times. I was kind of confused when I first saw, or kind of felt this. I was like, oh, they just kind of keep spinning. So when you are going to use a specific burner, you want to make sure if you're using both burners, you would open these all the way. You don't want to kind of choke that down. Although you can, I guess, adjust the flame that way, but it's interesting. You have to turn it, what do we got, 1, 2, 3 full rotations to get it fully open or fully closed. So maybe there's a lot of finite adjustment in there. Haven't really tested this yet. You do have your spot for your propane tank and an auto ignition, which is basically electric, so it's kind of nice. You just ignite it. You don't have to worry about grabbing matches or anything like that. But overall, it's a pretty nice grill. It is very basic though. And let me just kind of show you guys. I'll just kind of show you guys some close-ups here. And when I say basic, it's basically like a cooking rack. I mean, there's really not much to it. It does say on the Amazon listing that this has hooks and shelves. It did not come with anything like that. So basically, you can use this to hang some utensils, but you have to get some hooks. Again, this is just kind of hangs on the back of the tank. I wouldn't say this is really a refined grill, but it's, it'll get the job done. I think what's most important when looking at stuff like this is how does the price point compare to other versions on the market? And really, when you're looking at a grill, traditional grill with grates, you can pick those up for like $200 to $300. So I'd say, $240 by the time you don't tax, like $260-ish. It is, I think if I'm being honest, I'd much rather see them not include, or give you the option to just include a full-size griddle. I think if they made this with a full-size griddle, I think it would be more competitively priced. But, I didn't go through Amazon looking to see which is going to be the best price for you guys. I'm just here to present the information, and I hope that the company watches this. And to be more competitive, I think they would be a lot more competitive with this product, again, by including 2 of these griddle plates. And then, of course, including the deep fry section. Maybe some kind of a storage rack on the bottom, but you can find room in your kitchen, although I am running out of space. It is, handy. I will use it. But again, I can't stress this enough. I really would have liked to have seen them do double griddles, double flat platforms here. I guess you'd call this like a griddle plate, as opposed to, in all honesty, for me, I do very little deep frying. It's very rare. Maybe once a year will I do any kind of deep frying because it's such a mess. You have to pour your oil in there, heat your oil. It's delicious, but when you're done, then you have to get rid of the oil. And this isn't really an easy way for you to get rid of the oil, and you can't really store the oil in this. You know what I mean? So I think this could have been a little more refined. Maybe had like a cover, which once you're done with the oil, you can cover this up. Maybe you're going to use maybe in the summertime you do a lot of fish fries and stuff. Maybe be able to cover the oil with some sort of lid, so you can then come back and reuse this without having to break the whole thing down. But overall, I want to thank Fireriot for their generosity in sending this to me. If anything, this will definitely be an outdoor burner for me. And I think today I'm going to try this out and see how quick it boils water. Hey, as long as you can get it boiling like your standard burner, that's all I'm really concerned with. Technically, when cooking crab, you don't need a gigantic pot unless you're cooking, 10, 12 crabs. Generally, cooking like 5, maybe 6 at a time. So yeah, so it is what it is. That's my 2 cents on it. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Again, thank you, Fireriot, for the generosity in collaborating with Phatkat Collections. I hope that companies do take my advice and how to be a little more competitive. Again, it is just my opinion. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but again, I think it would just be more appealing to have double griddles, have the fry section, maybe an add-on for $10 or something like that. Not everybody's going to want the deep fryer portion, and they're kind of forcing you to take that. And again, for me, very rarely do I deep fry anything. So that's it, folks. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and take care.